Hey guys, I'm Sheldon. I'm here on behalf of the National Jazz Festival, and today I'm interviewing Mr. Rodger Fox. And congratulations on last night.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it's a great honour to win the Tui Award for the Best Jazz Album once again. I've actually won 4 over in my career, plus 1 with my university big band, the New Zealand School of Music. So it now sort of totals 5. So yeah.
So how does it feel to have won such a prestigious award? And for everyone that wasn't there last night, would you be able to take us through how you composed such an amazing album?
Well, what I did was I relocated back down to Wellington after being in Auckland for 22 years. So I've had a band in Auckland, but I've been travelling between Auckland and Wellington with my job, teaching at the New Zealand School of Music. So, and I about 2 years ago I decided to put a band together in Wellington as well. At one stage I had 2 bands going, one in Auckland, one in Wellington. But the Wellington one sort of superseded what's happening in Auckland, now that I'm relocated back down to Wellington. And what I've normally done when I've recorded the bands is I have recorded the material I've been playing over a sort of 4 or 5, 6 month period, and we've gone to the studio and recorded it. But I felt we needed to do something we were different with this band, that was sort of, being a new band, and do more of a project-orientated CD. And I wanted to try and keep it New Zealand in some way, so I contacted Alan Broadbent, who I've known for many years, but never really worked with because he's lived in the United States for so long. And he offered his services, so he started writing material. Now he's written for many great artists. He was the arranger on Sir Paul McCartney's latest CD. He's done half the arrangements, and he's with Diana Krall, and he's with Natalie Cole, and just a fantastic musician and piano player. So he offered the right 12 arrangements for the band, new arrangements, and they started to arrive, and I rehearsed them, and we recorded them in Wellington. I took the material up to the United States and mixed it, and Alan came in and played some of the piano parts on 5 of the tracks, and it sort of all came together like that. So it's sort of like you're talking about technology. It's the sort of thing you can do now. Like in my first CDs, it was a 24-track tape and something about that big, about 2 inches big. So it's just so much easier now with the technology, so to do that sort of thing.
Wow, that's quite amazing. And being such a global success for being an artist, a big band leader, and a producer, what are, in your opinions, your greatest achievements?
Well, that's probably hard because, a lot of what I do is so sort of diverse. I really like the educational side as well. So, everything I try and have done with my bands over the last 30-odd years, 39 years, has always had an educational thrust. So, the members of the band are teachers, and we do a lot of workshops where we go in and do things for school students, and then naturally bringing out some of the big name artists, which has a rub-off effect on myself and the musicians on the band, and then other musicians around us, and then anybody who come and see the concert. So, it's really just trying to put something back into something which has given me a lot. So, that's sort of what we keep going for,
Yeah, paying it forward pretty much.
Yeah. You're right there.
Yeah. What led you to branch out into so many different aspects of the music industry?
Well, I think a bit of that is being in New Zealand. It's a small market in New Zealand. There's only, 4.5 million people. So, and equate that to how many jazz fans there are. It's a small number. It's not like living in the United States. There's 15 million people living in Los Angeles. You're going to get a reasonable number of them like jazz. So, so what I did here is I've always tried to sort of do different things because it tends to keep me fresh. There was a period of time where I was touring with Midge Marsden, the blues singer. So he was fronting my 12-piece big band, and that was sort of a different thing for him and a different thing for me. So really, I think any aspiring musician these days is versatility. You got to be able to read music, you got to be able to compose music, you got to be able to arrange music, you got to play many different styles, and not lock yourself into one thing, because really there's not a market for it. And the guest artists we had here, I worked with on Friday, so Eric Maranthal, the saxophone player. He plays with Chick Corea. He's got his own really successful recording career, but he makes most of his living playing in the studios in Los Angeles. So he's actually the baritone saxophone player who plays the part for Lisa Simpson. So he does that every week almost. He goes in and plays that part, and put it all together, you've got a living. So that's what we try to do. So it keeps you in the business.
So, what would be some well, words of inspiration for the next up and coming, jazz musicians or
Yeah,
just any
a
musicians or
musician.
anything?
Well, I think I mean, the thing now with a lot of the younger players coming through, there's a lot more opportunities, with the education system. So, there's where I teach at the New Zealand School of Music. There's the Jazz School in Christchurch. There's one aligned to Auckland. I mean, Waikato has got some of the polytechs have got music programs. They're not technically jazz programs, but they're all playing sort of more commercial music and learning to read and arrange and use a studio. And if you're going to do it, you got to have all those aspects covered. So it's really similar to my own outlook on my own career. It's just have all the boxes ticked. You can read music, you can play the style, you can improvise. You're a nice person. You can, get on with people, and that's what it's all about. And like as I say, we've had the artists we've had here, Kurt Alling and Paddy Austin. I'm working with today or tonight. You couldn't ask for a suite of people. I mean, these are people at the top of their game, but nothing's too much a problem. There's no hassles. So if you have all that as a package, you're going to be able to actually work in this business, at any age. So, and that's really the key to it, I think. Yeah.
Cool. And congratulations again for winning the TUI Award.
Well, thank you.
And this is Sheldon signing out.